So today we are going to learn about the basics of AWS. What is the basics of AWS? What are the things which one has to understand before going to the cloud, right? So we have talked about what is cloud, what are the cloud concept. We have touched everything, but there were basics, right? But what are the things which one has to understand before or when a person starts in cloud computing? What are the basic things one has to learn so they will be aware what is going on? Okay, so here we will learn a very basic understanding what is cloud, and this is regarding AWS. So what are the concepts which Amazon wants you to understand? You should be aware as soon as you start your AWS journey. Okay, so first is region. Now I want to ask you, or I want to convey you, how many continents are there in the world? How many continents are there in the world? Quickly, there are seven continents. Okay, so what we have done, we have partitioned the earth, we have segregated the earth, or we have grouped the earth into seven subcontinents, right? Seven parts, right? And each continent is divided into subparts called countries. Okay, each country has its own ecosystem, on its have its own government, and they have their sets of rules. Similar pattern you can correlate with a region. Amazon has divided the geographical area of the world into 21 or more region. We call it geographical region. Okay, so what is region? It is a physical area across the globe where Amazon set up their data centers. Okay, so how many regions are there? More than 27. Why I'm saying more than 27? Because Amazon's keep on introducing new region. So if we are right now talking, as of my knowledge, there are nearly 27. They might add the new region in the very next month. So we'll say, sir, आपने 27 कहा था. Okay, it's always increasing. Now, so after the region, we have availability zone. We have availability zone. What is availability zone? You can compare availability zone with a country. So inside the continent, you have countries. So each country has its own as power supply, its government, its policies. Similarly, you can understand availability zone. You can compare availability zone with a country. Okay. So what is the correlation between a region and the availability zone? And what is meant by availability zone? So this is the actual data centers. Okay. Let's go in the theory. So what is region? Physical location around the world where we cluster data center, or Amazon cluster the data centers. Each AWS region consists of multiple isolated and physically separated availability zone, or we call it AZ, within a geographical region. So you have one region, just imagine you have one region. Okay, this region will consist one or more data or availability zone. So I will just show you one diagram. So just remember this diagram, always remember this diagram. So you have a region, this is, you can say, Can you see the black dotted line? This is a region. Inside the region, there can be one or more availability zone. What is availability zone? We'll talk about that in detail, but this is a correlation between them. So we always work in a particular region. We have to work in a single region. At a time, we will work in a given region. Inside that, we will work on availability zone. So, what is the correlation between region and availability zone? A region consists of multiple isolated and physically separate edges. Always remember this thing. Throughout our syllabus, we are going to talk about region availability zone, region and availability zone. So I am not going to explain you this again and again. Please understand this very carefully. Each availability zone has its own independent power, cooling system, physical security, and is connected via redundant ultra low network. Okay, it has a very good internet speed. What is what is mean by latency? Anybody here knows the word latency? Right. Okay, so latency basically means the delay in a communication. So when you have a low latency, or that means your communication is fast, or the response time when you send a package, when you request anything from over the internet and you get the response, that's the delay is called latency. The low the latency, the fast the communication is. Okay, so ultra low latency. Okay, millisecond, microsecond delay. So these are the availability zone. AWS infrastructure region meets with the highest level of security, compliance, and data protection. Now let's jump to the availability zone. It will be more clear. Now, before going to the PPT, I was just want to show you one diagram. Now, can you let me know what is there in the diagram? What can you see in the diagram? Here you will see some okay, these are the power generating windmill, but I want to focus on this thing. What is this? These are the data centers. Okay, here is one data center, this is another, this is third. So there are multiple data center, and this facility is been powered by a windmill, as well as there are some power grid here. Okay, now just imagine this thing. This is a full-fledged data center. What is there inside a data center? Has anybody visited in the data center? Have you seen these pictures? This type of photo, or this type of things in the movies you might have seen, right? This is actually a data center. Picture of one of the data centers. You will find the photos and number of photos over the internet, but this is the actual scenario where this is called rack. In in each home we call it cabinet, right? This is one cabinet, or sometimes we call it rack. Inside a rack there are multiple computers. You can see this is one computer, this is another, third, four, five, six, and so on. Okay, so these are the number of computers attached in a rack. Now just remember this image throughout our syllabus. Okay, so how many computers are there in this picture? There are more. There can be storage, there can be memory. So we'll talk about that in detail after some time. But now, what is availability zone? Availability zone, or we call it AZ, is one or more discrete data center with redundant power, networking, and connectivity in a region. So one or more data center. One or more data center means you can see this is one data center, this is one data center, and this is another data center. Now what is data center? It's a collection of servers. Now what is server? Server is a collection of rack. So I have shown you here this image. Okay, what is rack? Rack is a collection of machines or collection of computers. This is one rack. Okay, now what is servers? This is a server room. What is server? Server is a basically, or what is a server room? Server room is a collection of rack or collection of machines again. And in a server, there can be one machine, there can be more than one machine. Okay, inside the data center, there are so many server rooms are there. So this is one data center. Okay, this is another data center. This is, there can be third data center. Now this whole picture is one AZ. This whole picture is one AZ or availability zone. Why? It has its own power backup. It will have its own internet connectivity. There will be a security. You can see there are some trucks are there. So communication, there are parking, everything is available. This is one availability zone. Okay. So availability zone give customers the ability to operate production application and databases. There are more highly available, fault tolerant, scalable than that would be possible from a single data center. Now here are a couple of words: fault tolerant, highly availability. Okay, so what is fault tolerant? Can anybody explain me what is, or anybody knows what is the meaning of fault tolerant? So basically, if anything goes down, your system should come up immediately, or it should avoid the failure. That's the word tolerant. Okay, fault tolerance. Okay, so this is basically means your system should be up and running all the time. Fault tolerance. Now, all availability zone in a in a AWS regions are interconnected with high bandwidth, low latency network over fully redundant and dedicated metro fiber provided high throughput low latency network between the AZs. Now what is this means? So I have talked about there will be a region, inside region there will be availability zones. In each availability zone there will be a data center, right? So what I'm saying, each availability zone has a data center, one or more data center. All these data centers are internally connected with each other, right? Like this. But the availability zones inside a region will be, even they are connected with each other. And why they are connected with each other, I will explain you in the further session. But right now, always remember the availability zones inside a region will be connected with each other. So we have nearly 27 regions. Each region will be having at least three availability zone, three or more availability zone. Every region will have three or more availability zone. So at least you will have 70 to 80 availability zone around the globe. Okay, they are, and inside a region only the availability zone will be connected. So let's say there is one region, this is US region, this is India region. Okay, this is US, this is India region. Okay, so there will be three availability zone here, and they are will be connected with each other. Okay, in India there will be three availability zone, they will be connected with each other. Okay, now availability zones may be several data centers, but if they are really close to each other, they are going to be counted as one availability zone. Now, How Amazon decide the availability zone? There will be some factor, right, where Amazon decide what is the availability zone, what is the region, right? There should be some meaningful understanding how they are deciding. Agree? Yes or no? So how they are deciding it? How the availability zones are decided? Now just imagine. Okay, I will just show you a picture. This one. So how Amazon decide what is the region and how the availability zones are decided? So by the definition, what Amazon says that a availability zone may be several data center, but if they are really close to each other, they are counted as one availability zone. What is mean of that? Okay, so let's imagine you are in Mumbai. Amazon has set up one data center, not one building, one data center in Mumbai. Okay, and Amazon has set up another data center in Navi Mumbai, third data center in Pune. I'm talking about data center, not availability zone. Okay, one is in Mumbai, another is in Navi Mumbai, and third is in Pune. Okay, now Amazon says that if any natural calamities happen or any man-made calamities happen, any disaster happens, and it should not, if any natural calamity happen or if any natural disaster happens and it wipe outs one data center or one availability zone, moreover, if because of any reason one availability goes down, it should not impact the other availability zone. What do you mean by that? If anything goes wrong with this availability zone, it should not impact this two one. Okay, let's say there is a flood in Mumbai, so the data center in Mumbai will be down. The data center in Navi Mumbai will also be down or no? And the data center in Pune, will that be affected? So so data center in Mumbai and data center in Navi Mumbai, can we call it two availability zone or single availability zone? They will be called as single availability zone or they will be called as two availability zone. They will consider as a single availability zone because the data centers are nearby and they can't be a backup of other, because if any natural disaster happen or even man-made disaster. What is a man-made disaster? Your electricity power grid down is one of the right now man-made disasters, right? So if your power grid fails, whole Mumbai as well, Navi Mumbai might get impacted. So your distance between the two data center should be far enough that if any natural disaster happens, it should not impact the other data center. Then it will be called as different availability zone. Otherwise, it will consider as a single availability zone. Okay. So that's what written in the second part. So one availability zone could or could be two or more data centers that are within a couple of miles from each other. In that way, if there is a flood, it might take out all the facility or it might take out the whole availability zone. This is how Amazon decide. Okay, so just give me yes or no. Availability zone one data center in Mumbai, one data center in Pune, one data center in Nasik. How many availability zone according to you? Three. And if we are putting one data center in Navi Mumbai, again three, because Mumbai and Navi Mumbai will be one, and outskirt of Pune, and there is outskirt in Pune. Again three, because Pune and outskirt of Pune will be considered as one availability zone. Okay, so in a very broad way, always remember one data center in Delhi, one data center in Mumbai, one data center in Hyderabad, and other is in Bangalore. This is the distance I am required, right? So then there will be another data center that will be 100 miles away. If there is a flood in one area, it is not going to affect the other area. That is how the Amazon decide the distance between the availability zone. Okay, so if they are near to each other, then it will be considered one. Clear? And each availability zone are backup to each other within a region. Within a region. Are we clear with this? Now, quickly, what is edge location? What is edge location? Um, how many of you know the concept of cache? How many of you know the concept of cache? Have you heard this word cache? How cache works? Do you know? Mm-hmm. Yes. Okay. So, I will just give you how websites are working. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yes. So, this is your website. Okay. So, do you know how you are accessing a website and how your websites are working? Okay. Anybody knows that? So, this is your computer in the middle. Okay. This is your computer. Now, when you access a website, what will happen? Let's say you are accessing a Wikipedia. What will happen? Your request from your laptop will go to the server. Okay. There will be a server data center. Your access, yes, your request from your laptop will go to the server. Now, what will happen? There will This server will return back you some package. What will be the package? Your website page. It will be some page, and what is there in the page? There can be some text, right? Wikipedia, if you are imagine the Wikipedia, there will be some page on that, text will be there, as well as some photos. If you Google about your Mahatma Gandhi, if you go to the Google Wikipedia website, you will see what are the content of this page. Text, some images, right? Simple HTML page. This is a HTML page. So when you hit your any website, it will go to the server and it will send back you some information. And if I refresh this again, you can see it is refreshing quickly as compared to previous one. So what actually happens? So when you hit the website first time, let's say this first line is of 1 KB. Okay, this is of 2 KB. Nice. Okay, and so on. This is of 2 KB, this is of 2 KB, and this image is of, let's say, 500 KB. Agree? Now when you refresh, what will happen? In total, how much data you have downloaded? You might have downloaded a total combined of 600 KB, right? 100 KB image and 500 KB image and 100 KB some text. When you refresh, what do you think? The full 600 KB should be downloaded, or it should only download the change in the website? Let's say only this content of the website has changed from the last visit. From your last visit, only this part of the website has changed, and this is of 10 KB. So do you want to spend full 600 plus 10 KB, or do you just you want to use only 10 KB? So what actually happens in your local browser? In your local browser, the cache is created for this website, and you refresh or you ask for the more content. The website and the cache will check how much data is already there in your cache and what is the new thing. If it will do a comparison between cache and the actual website, and it will only send the package which is got updated, that is a 10 KB. Why this is done? To save the bandwidth as well as to increase the performance of your browser. So this is where cache comes in the picture. Is it clear how cache works? Yes or no? Now, this is the advantage of cache. What is the disadvantage of cache? Let's say this image is replaced in the server. This image is replaced in the server, but because of cache, it is saying that image is present. Okay, until unless now if you hit the website, so what will you get? Will the image update in your browser? No, because it is always saying that the image is there. So sometime because of cache, you will not get the new content. Okay, the because of cache, the old content is been published to your browser. Just try just try to refresh some website without internet. The website might load. How that website is loaded? Because of cache. Clear? Now, what is the major advantage of cache? That it reduces the load on the server. You can see every time you hit with a fresh, it will the server has to give you 600 KB data, right? Now imagine that there are thousands of users. In each user is asking for 600, right? Each user is asking of 600 KB. It is good that you can serve one time, but if you are serving 10 times a single user and there are 10,000 user, your server will be in stress, or server means the machine on which the website is hosted will be on stress. Yes or no? This is clear. Now using the cache, you are just asking 10 KB. You have reduced nearly how much? 600 times less data you are asking from the server every refresh, right? So this is the advantage of cache. So really around the world, the data which you are getting is most of the cache. Okay, how this works in detail we will talk about in other further classes. But you might have experience while browsing your Gmail, browsing your YouTube, browsing your other social media website. After a couple of refresh, there is no new content. Why? Because there is a cache and you are just refreshing the cache. So similar here. So even Amazon provides this feature where you can cache your data on a nearby server. So let's say this is your main server where website is hosted. If there is no cache mechanism, this server has to serve individually to each user, right? If there is no cache mechanism available, your website has to serve individually to each customer, right? So this customer you have to serve, you have to this customer. Right now there will be 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 customer are there, right? So each customer are accessing the website directly. Now let's introduce a cache where the website content will be delivered to the another server. This is another server. It's called local server, and these servers are near to the user. Now let's say it takes 10 second to 10 millisecond to reach from here to here to the end user, from the host to the end user, and from here it is taking 1 millisecond or 2 millisecond. So what I'm doing, I am caching a one copy of my website in the nearby server. I'm creating one copy here, right? I'm downloading a copy to nearby server or local server. Now whenever user will ask for the data on my website, they are going to get the data from nearby servers, which reduce the stress on my actual server. Previously I have to serve 10 people, now I have to serve only 5 servers. Agree? And if the user increases, they will be served from the local servers. The load will not come to the actual website. Agree? And even the user experience has improved because the latency has reduced to 1 millisecond. Okay? In Amazon, these local servers are called edge location. Again, they are actual servers. They are different from the availability zone. They are not availability zone. They are different from the availability zone. But their primary purpose is to cache the data. They are not data centers. They are the servers. They are different from availability zone data centers. Okay, they they are machines just for facilitating the cache mechanism. It is called aid location. These are the physical server. So physical aid location might be there in Pune. There can be 2 or 3 physical aid location present within a cities. Okay, so there can be nearly hundreds of aid location across the globe. Aid location are endpoint for AWS which are used to cache content. They are used for caching the content. Typically, this consists of CloudFront, Amazon Content Delivery Network. We are going to read this word in detail in our further classes. For just now, remember what is edge location? This is used for caching the data. Okay, we are going to cover this in S3 in detail. So what we have learned today in detail, we have understood about the what is region, what is availability zone, what is edge location. Now you have to be very clear about these three terminologies: what is region, what is availability zone, and what is edge location. So a region is a physical location in the world which consists of two or more availability zone. An availability zone is one or more discrete data centers. Each have its own redundant power, networking, connectivity, and in-house separate facilities. Even they have the physical security